Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show from time to time because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that. If you're new to this channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. You know, what can I say about this week? Once again, we have now, it started to do this little crescendo, like we were going somewhere, and now we're back to square one. Like, hands up if you're just annoyed with what's going on lately. 2 hands up here. Anyway, we will get into that, whatever we can scrounge up in order to, say what happened. All right, couple of disclaimers. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up on your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not mention something in particular, it could be I plumb forgot, or it just really wasn't newsworthy, which quite frankly, side note, a whole lot of stuff happened this week that quite frankly, I don't think it really was newsworthy, but I got to give you something. So we're just going to do what we can do. And again, if I don't happen to mention it, it may not have been newsworthy, so I didn't bother mentioning it. Is what it is, nature of the beast, that's what I like to call it. And if you do like this type of content, you do like what you hear, you like what you see, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe, and also the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. Okay, so let's start with the scrounging, whatever, little pieces of the pie we can get together in order to create something out of, quite frankly, nothing. Oh boy. Okay, so the beginning of the week, we saw Daniel with Tessa. And, they're strumming on the guitar, having their grand old, guitar lesson, if you will, in Chancellor Park. And basically Tessa says to him, it's sounding good, except, it's missing something. So she's like, hug the guitar like a friend or whatever she said. So Daniel's like, oh, okay, well, oh yeah, that's much better. Alrighty then. Just then, in my head, I was like, cue Mariah. Sure enough, there comes Mariah, slinking in, and she sees whatever going on between Daniel and Tessa. And she's got this look of, albeit bewilderment on her face. And I'm thinking, okay, Mariah, once again, you have done all of this to yourself. We learn probably a little bit more of what she's done that, oh my gosh, I can't tell my wife. Whatever that was, we learn a little bit more this week. And I don't know if what we learned, if that was it, or if there was something further to it. And if it was it, which I will say, if it was it, okay, like, not that that was a good thing, but I would feel like it was, a piece of a movie that just never finished, like you watch your favorite sitcom and, it just kind of stops cold turkey and then it's off the air. To me, that's almost like the equivalent with if that's the end of the story. Yeah, not good. All right, so Mariah's standing there, bewilderment, looking on. And then Daniel basically spots her offside and is like, oh. So Tessa kind of, she turns around to see Mariah. And yeah, they were strumming the whole song about, you hurt me, you did whatever to me. Trust me, I can sing better than that, but okay, I'm feeling a little, how should I say, nasally today? So I don't know if it's the weather, but whatever. So anyway, they were singing their little duet together, and Daniel, as I said, spots Mariah, and he basically says to Mariah, singing Tessa's praises, that she's so forgiving and what have you. And of course, that leads Mariah to go ding in her head that obviously Daniel knows something because of Tessa. She doesn't say this, but you can tell based on the look on her face. And Tessa, she has this almost look of not guilt, but almost like I had no other choice because you wouldn't talk to me. So I needed to talk to somebody, and he's the one. Yeah. So that's basically the look on their faces. So Daniel eventually he takes his guitar and he's off. That's it. And Tessa is now left with Mariah, and Mariah, I guess Tessa was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, Mariah?" And glad to see you. And she's like, "Oh, really? Yeah, okay, yeah." And she's like, "Mariah, the only one that doesn't want to be here, doesn't want you to be here, is you." And she basically tells her how Arya had a little slip and fall, if you will. She kind of scuffed herself, and Mariah, seemed like very concerned. And she's like, "No, no, I wiped your little boo boo up, and yeah, there was some sort of," she's like, "I sang her little song, and but then she was like, well, I need a kiss from both my mommies," or something like that. Don't quote me, all right? So Mariah's like, oh, well, can you just let her know I'll try come see her this week? She's like, Mariah, no. So basically Tessa says to Mariah, like, you know what, bump you. If you want space, you can have the space. Let's make this just permanent. And Tessa starts to walk off, and Mariah's like, "Tessa," and I laugh because Tessa was like, "Doo doo doo," and she just kept on walking. She did not stop, turn around, what you see they normally do. She just kept on walking. Like, she totally ignored her. So bravo, Tessa. Good for you. Because Mariah has been acting a whole set of silliness. So what we saw in her, not imagination, but her flashbacks, if you will, was again this older gentleman, and you saw them kind of leaning in for whatever intimate kiss. But then you see where he was kind of laid out on a couch, and she's now like snuffing him out with a pillow. She's like got the pillow to his face. Now, again, I think it's kind of plain to tell, which I said it before, is that this older gentleman reminds her of Ian, and now she's trying to get back, but in her subconscious, whatever, she's doing all these, albeit criminal activities, because she's snuffing the guy out. Like, this guy's like, he's like, oh, and she's like, "Arr." So I don't know if the guy's dead. I couldn't tell you. Once again, if that's the end of it, that, albeit, let's say she killed him, she got away with that? Okay. So I don't know if we'll find out anything further. I don't know if she's gonna finally spill the beans to Sharon or Tessa or whoever, but that's basically what happened where Mariah was concerned, and Tessa. So we will see what happens with them. Let's hope we get this little show on the road, because this has been lingering on, like, I don't know. So anyway, back to Daniel for half a second. He meets up with Danny, his dad, at the coffee house. Was it the coffee house? No, it was Society. And he basically was like, yeah, well, Danny was talking about all things cricket. Raise your hand if you pretty much fast forwarded all the whole cricket and Danny. Wait a minute. I did. What a... Okay, before I get into that. So yes, Danny was speaking to Daniel about cricket and him and their relationship, and how he's like, I feel like they're getting it right this time, and he's really found his person, and yeah, he just wants to do it right this time around, and blah blah blah. So yeah, he basically tells Daniel that he's going to propose to Cricket. Can we say boring? Like I said before, I really hope the two of them do get married and just ride off into the sunset. Don't come back. Your whole storyline is just useless. There, you know, please, no. So let's just briefly talk about them. They almost had a whole show to themselves. And I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Was there nothing, no other content you could have put? So, yeah, Cricket and Danny almost had a whole episode to themselves, reminiscing about the past when they first met. You know, she was like, so like goo goo gaga over him because it was like this superstar. This is when she was doing the little modeling at, I believe it was at Jabot, and like the preteens or whatever, and she met him, and uh yeah, and then they did like reminiscing when they first got married. Well, was they first got married, or they had gone on vacation, I believe to Hawaii or something, and he bought her this bracelet, and I was like, oh boy, that bracelet kind of looked like it came from the Cracker Jack box. But okay, okay, this was back when. That was that like the 80s, I think? I'm pretty sure it was the 80s, because I dare say when they did that flashback, I went, oh, the wrapping paper looks just like the couch, or was it a couch or a bed frame? Something like that. It looked exactly. If you have it on video, if you feel like you want to go back and look, trust me, it matched. Okay, so that was pretty much those two, and she said yes. That's the spoiler alert. She said yes, he proposed, and okay, I'm done with them. I can't, no, no, no more. And I really hope they don't show some sort of wedding between the two of them. I hope it's just implied that they got married and just move on. Just no. Um, albeit rock on. Yeah. What else happened? Okay. As you know, Cole has passed away, right? So Victoria and Claire had to pick out, I guess, an urn because Cole's his directive, if you will, his wishes were to be cremated. So somebody from the funeral home came, and I was like, wait a minute, in this day and age, you have a binder with, the little like photocopied paper in the little clear slips, those with pictures of urns. Oh, you don't have an actual like book that has been made with, look at this, and oh, okay. And so they picked out an urn. That was quick, and they said basically they want to wait to have the memorial because the family is away, and hopefully they'll be coming back soon. So the funeral person was like, no problem, take your time, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Any help you need, let us know. Well, who comes to visit Victoria at some point in time was Nathaniel. Nate, good old Nate. He comes over, and once again I say, this is just going to leave the room open for Victoria and Nate to get back together, because they were together for a hot minute. It's going to happen. Poor Victoria is sitting there, and normally I'm not a big Victoria fan, but she was like, I'm all alone. Cole, I loved him. And they had a weird relationship because even though they kind of got back together, it just seemed like they were constantly apart. But yet, yeah, it was just weird. But anyway, I dare say Kyle and Claire seemed more together than Victoria and Cole. But okay, this is soap opera land, so who knows? Anyway, Chelsea also came to visit, and because Adam was like, okay, check on my sister. And so she broke down to Chelsea because Chelsea's like, hey, so how's Cole doing? Any better? Cole's gone. Oh, yeah. So that's how she found out. And she was like, oh my gosh, Victoria, oh no, what can I do? Oh no, no. Like, that's Chelsea. And she's like, oh no, I'm okay. And then eventually she breaks down and starts like cowballing in front of her. And they share a tender moment of a hug. That's great. You know what? Bravo, Chelsea. You were there for her. And because, I don't care if it's a soap opera. I just don't like seeing people sad. Like, that's my nature. I don't like it. But okay. So that was pretty much that. And so now Chelsea is pretty much outside of Nate, is the only other one that really knows that Cole is gone. So, but Chelsea did mention to Victoria who Dumas is. And now it's this whole like, Victoria kind of was like, what? So all of her sadness kind of went to the wayside when she found out that it's Kane. And she's like, oh, wonder what the plan is here, And I'm like, I still have my predictions where this concerned. It's starting to narrow down, but we shall see. Like, I feel like I'm on a bit of a hot streak, but okay. I love to do this. I love to do this. I love to kind of guess and figure out and just put my clues together and just, come up with a scenario and a prediction. That's what I do. Okay, so that was that. While in Nice, was there anything else in... Okay, well, we saw Holden with Claire. He's so shady. And Claire, right now, she's kind of, albeit innocent, because she's now lost her father. So she looked kind of bedraggled. She was sitting at the coffee house, and Holden comes in, and he was trying to, when he found out that Cole was gone, he was trying to be comforting to her. But again, let's just know that Holden is shifty and shady. That's who he is, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty much all of Genoa City. So now into Nice, you got Phyllis once again, who's like bebopping around the place, and she's like, I'm all in with Kane, and I'm willing to betray my daughter's father, and I'm with you, Kane. Haven't I proven my loyalty? And Kane's like, no, I'm calling him Cardigan Kane. So Cardigan Kane, this guy with his cardigans, oh my gosh, Cardigan Kane is like, no, you haven't proven anything to me, and he whatnot. But again, she's still bebopping around the place and, kind of speaking to Nick. Nick had Sharon talk to her, as the albeit psychiatrist point of view. And that really didn't go much of anywhere. But, I mean, what Sharon was saying to her made a lot of sense. But, of course, this is Phyllis we're talking about here. So once again, I say their little bond, friendship, let's be friends, Teddy Ruxpin type thing, that is not going to last. It's just not. And you see it, like crumbling, before your eyes. But whatever. Let's see how long this is going to last. Probably by the time they get back to Genoa City, which, oh my gosh, have they not been there for at least a month now? The last time when they got there, it was... Friday the 13th. I want to say it was June 13th. Like, come on. It's the 13th of the month right now. And a month? Like somebody said, okay, like who owns these companies and who's running them? And they're off on, away for a month? What? Exactly. So yeah, whatever Sharon said to Phyllis, it ain't going a hot bit of nowhere. And again, Nick, and on his chest, who wants to save the day, he's running around, laying his little threats here and there. He wants to like pulverize Kane. And yeah, yet once again, if Adam could trick up the side of the mountain for 3 hours, certainly one of them could have told I don't know, Billy or Jack or somebody, so that they could like sneak down, fly a jet in or something and just get out of Dodge here. Like, what is going on? But then every minute they're like back and forth about, well, let's just treat this like a vacation. And then, oh, we're stranded here. We're held captive. Make up your mind. What do you want to do? Like, lay aside in the pool, the phantom pool that none of us have seen yet, but yet Sally's there in her little sarong and oh my gosh. Okay, so as you know, speaking of Sally, as you know, Billy signed over the CEO position of Abbott Communications to Sally. Oh boy. Somehow Jack finds this out because Billy basically tells him. And yeah, that didn't go over well at all. And Jack was like, what? What? He's like, no offense, Sally, but what? I trusted you, Billy. This was for you, Billy. I believed in you, Billy. And he's like, what? Like, what? What? Like, I didn't have to say nothing to you. And of course, Diane's like, you know, Diane. Oh. Oh, she had me cracking up this week, but okay. Yeah, so Jack is not happy about this whatsoever. And Sally's standing there like, but Sally, you did your thing. I liked your outfit, but you did your thing. You just nailed that in the bag. You made sure that you were not going to leave this whole relationship at all with nothing. So, Billy boy, I don't know what to tell you, but the joke may be on you. Oh boy. And then wouldn't it be something if she just made a complete success out of this on her own? Yo. Bravo, Sally. Okay, what else did we see? We saw, well, Amanda, I don't know. She is just bitter. She's just walking around and she's there. She was talking to Lily about, you know, Kane basically Kane wants a relationship with you. Like, wouldn't you give him another chance? He's changed. And Lily's like, ain't having it. Nope, nope, nope. And Lily has moved on to Damian. I mean, she planted one on him in one part of this whole little, I don't know, what is it? It's not a forest. In between the hedges there. She planted one on him and he was like, whoa. I know the first one was pretty much a performance, but if this was a performance, yo, I did not mind that at all. And she's like, no, it was real. And the first one was real. And I wanted to kiss you. They did the dirty in her train car. They talked about how it was so hot. And before you know it, he was like, I'm going to leave. I'll be a gentleman. It's okay. She's like, no, no, no. It's like, everything came off. And the two of them, we didn't see it, but we know what happened. And she was like, ding, ding, ding. She was a happy little clam after that. And so was he. So they were so happy that before you knew it, these guys are announcing that they're a couple. What? In front of Kane. Well, Cardigan Kane saw them and he was like, this guy starts drinking and what have you. And yeah, he was not having it. He was pissed off. Kane, what'd you expect? All right, before we finish this craziness off, okay, my prediction. I really don't believe that Colin is dead. I don't believe it. Nope. I have two thoughts. Okay. So before I get into those thoughts, what ends up happening at some point in time is that Cardigan Kane and Damian have a conversation. And quite frankly, that whole little conversation it wasn't good at all. Not in a bad way. It's just like, this didn't it just didn't seem genuine. Like, it honestly didn't feel genuine um, coming through the screen to me. But whatever. Um, and so basically, Cardigan Kane is telling Damian, like, okay, with if you're with Lily, don't hurt her, whatever, whatever. And he's like, look here, man. Um, basically, she's a quality woman. He didn't say all this, but basically she's a quality woman, and like ever since the first time I laid eyes on her, like I knew like I would like her. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that I treat her with like a queen. Basically, this is what he's alluding to. And Kane's like, okay. Meanwhile, they're drinking. I don't know if this was scotch or rum or whatever. I can't remember. I don't think it was like bourbon, but whatever. And they're drinking away, and then eventually Damien's like, I I know I should be used to the altitude here. Oh boy. And he's just kind of stumbling along, and then eventually Cardigan Kane, he starts to stumbling, and he's like, oh, there must be something, because Damien's like, hey, did you put something in this drink or something? He's like, man, I'm drinking it too. Oh boy. Well, deep within the bushes, if you will, there is somebody with a, albeit like a sword. That thing, could that thing look any more plastic? This is almost like the croissant story. I'm like, okay. So there's somebody with a sword slash knife in the bushes. And of course, conveniently, Damian and Cardigan Kane's back is like facing this person. All right, and eventually, by the end of the week, this person throws this thing, and it hits Damian right in the back, and it's stuck in his back. Damian falls into basically Kane's arms, and who walks in? Enter stage left, Phyllis. And Phyllis is just standing there like, oh, she didn't move. She didn't say, oh my God. She did like nothing. And Kane's looking like, oh, but he really doesn't look that disappointed. So here's my thing. I think Colin did it. And it's either Colin or, in my head, Creepy Carter. Somebody said, oh, it had to have been Amanda. No, there wouldn't have been enough time unless they do some stupid little flashback down the road that somehow in between her conversation with Lily, that at that point in time they stopped. Then she went into the bushes with. But I will say this. Amanda seems very protective over Cardigan Kane. Even I think it was Nicholas that said something to her concerning him. It was basically like, you're certainly standing up a lot for this guy. Like, what's up with that? And again, she just seems bitter. She just never seems to have a happy moment. Worse now that she's back on the show. Like, she barely will crack a smile or anything. She just wakes up upset. Like nothing. But Lily even confronted her, was like, tell me what's going on. Like, what is going on? So I don't know. Maybe she and Kane are in some sort of relationship. Maybe she like really loves Kane off and she just wants him for herself. I don't know. But I still don't think she was the one who did the hit job. Because as we know, Kane said he feels he has reason to believe that somebody's going to try him murder him by the end of the week. So this was the end of the week. Boom, Damian got it. Do I think it was meant for Damian? Not necessarily. I think that was, a hit job gone wrong. But I don't know. We'll see how this works out. Spoiler alert this week. Do Good or Chance is supposed to start questioning people. They're all supposed to be suspects. What is this? Clue? Oh my goodness. Anyway, that was pretty much this whole week. I tell you, I fell asleep a good couple times, especially that whole Cricket and Danny story. Oh man, can you just pretend like they already got married once again? Like we don't need to like further this and just say that they went somewhere, they eloped, and they're living their life. All right, Cricket, Danny, go live your best life, please. Just don't. Yeah, we've got other fish to fry. This ain't it. Okay, guys, that was pretty much it. As I said, if I missed something again, I could plumb forgot, or as I said, just wasn't newsworthy. Didn't bother mentioning it. So we're gonna see what this week holds, and hopefully this downward spiral that was going on here, hopefully it can pick back up, because for the love of Pete, they need to get back to Genoa City. This whole back and forth nonsense is just way too much. So you take care, guys. And once again, if you like this type of video, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe. And again, don't forget that bell notification. And I will catch you on the next video. You take care, guys. Bye.